Today on Ballistic Barbecue, I'm going to be cooking up a pulled tri-tip roast on the Lone Star Grill's El Patron. Let's get going. So I know a lot of you are wondering, what the heck is Greg thinking of doing a pulled tri-tip? Well, this video started out, I was going to actually cook a whole different protein. They didn't have what I was looking for at the grocery store. So I was looking at a chuck roast thinking, I'll do a pulled chuck, because I just wanted to do something pulled. And then I saw the tri-tip laying there. It was untrimmed tri-tip roast, and they're on sale. It was half the price as the chuck, so I went with that. And I've never seen a pulled tri-tip. I've never done a pulled tri-tip. Everybody's done brisket style, but today we're going to do pulled. Here's that tri-tip. It's about 3.5 pounds, and this is untrimmed. So normally, you know, you'd be taking off a lot of this fat and then kind of squaring it off. But it's a nice one. There's a lot of nice marbling. There's a little silver skin here I took off. Other than that, I'm just leaving it alone. Gonna kick it off with a binder, and I'm using a little Worcestershire sauce. Now we're going to hit it with some pepper and salt, and a big shout out to my buddy David, who gave me this jar of 16 mesh black pepper. Very cool of him. It was funny. He left it. His work truck was parked in a parking lot, and he told me it'll be in the bed of my truck. And I felt like I was, you know, it was in a public parking lot. I felt like I was pulling off a crime here. But anyway, thank you, David. So we're going to go pretty liberal like I would on a brisket. Now some kosher salt. Normally I would have trimmed in here a lot. We'll see what happens. In theory, this should be good, but that's in theory. Tri-tip is a really delicious meat, and it actually cooks up pretty nicely. You know, medium rare is how I normally do, like kind of Santa Maria style. So this is a first for me, and who knows? It may be the first of many. All right. So this is going to go in the fridge and rest. I'm actually starting this cook probably between midnight and 2. I need to kind of crunch the numbers up. I've never done this before, and so I'm kind of guessing on how long it's going to take to cook. But it'll be hitting the pit, like I said, between midnight and 2 a.m. I'm shooting for this to be done by lunch, and I want to include, you know, rest time and everything. So I'll see you guys when that big old burning ball of plasma in the sky's not there anymore. See you tonight, or tomorrow morning, I guess. Okay, it's about 12:30 a.m. right now. I lit the pit up about an hour ago. I'm using the charcoal basket. I have 16 pounds of briquettes in there, about 3 fairly decent sized chunks of hickory. It's running at 180 degrees Fahrenheit at this moment. I have water in there too. I have the water pan in there as well. So right now what my plan is we're going to let this roll overnight. I'm throwing caution to the wind. I'm not going to be getting up every hour to check on it. I'm just hoping this does what I think it's going to do. When I wake up in the morning, it's probably going to be 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm going to evaluate whether or not I'm going to wrap or not. Right now, my plan is to wrap. And again, I'm going for pulled tri-tip, which when I say that, it sounds crazy, but we'll see. The dampers are fairly close. I'm kind of have the dampers set like as if it were a Kamado right now. Smells really good. I'm getting that nice hickory smell right now. I'm sure my neighbors are all wondering what the heck is going on. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the morning. Right, you guys last saw me at 12:30 a.m. It is now 6:30 a.m. Basically, right before I went to bed last night, or this morning, I guess it was, the pit was like right around 203. And from there, it took an arc. As high as it went was 210 degrees Fahrenheit. And then it started slowly coming back down. this morning when I checked it at 6 o'clock in the morning, it was 189 degrees, and that was without touching those dampers at all. I was erring on the low side. I wanted to make sure I was staying within that safety zone, but I didn't, while I was sleeping, want it to go up, you know, up into the high 200s, which obviously it did not. So this whole cook is a learning process for me. It's me learning this cook before I start buying, you know, expensive briskets and such. So it reacts, it's funny, it's reacting like a Kamado as far as the adjustments. You know, I was just making little minute adjustments on the damper, and you know, I would get a temperature increase. There aren't really any dramatic swings. Everything that this cooker has been doing since I lit it yesterday or last night has been very gradual, so that's cool. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is wrap that tri-tip. So I'm just sort of winging this whole cook. I'm just having fun here, and I thought it would be a good idea for some reason. It may not be, to add a little bit of a stout. This is just room temperature Guinness is what it is. Just gonna add a little bit of there just to help add some flavor, but also help this become pullable. You know, really tender here. And I didn't mention it last night. I was just trying to be quiet. I went fat cap down on this. I like, you know, pointing those fat caps towards the direction where the heat's coming from. Obviously in this, the heat's coming from below, so I put the fat cap on the bottom. I'm gonna put this in a pan and we'll get it back on the pit. So now what I'm going to do is some damper adjustments to bring that temperature up. I'm going up into the 225 degree Fahrenheit range now, and we're just going to leave that tri-tip wrapped, and we're going for tenderness now. So again, this is a cook. This is literally my third cook on this, and the first was a hamburger. I did actually on my hamburger channel, the last video I shot, the burger I cooked it on this. I did reverse seared steaks, and then this. So this is my third cook, and this is my first real, you know, longer cook. So it's been a good learning process. What I would do different next time is, I think it's safe to take this to that 225 degree Fahrenheit point right before I'm going to bed. Other than that, like, I really like how this thing reacts. Again, nothing's dramatic on it. Everything's been just very gradual with those little damper adjustments. So that's a good sign. And I still have a decent amount of charcoal left with, again, I started out with 16 pounds, and an hour of that was burning before I put any food on, because again, I was just trying to bring it up to temperature, and I'm still learning all the ins and outs of this this cooker. But yeah, I am very optimistic about the El Patron, that's for sure. Okay, so the total cook time so far from the beginning of this cook until where I'm at now has been 10 hours. And I'm finally getting that feeling with the probe that this meat is going to pull. It's just going in very easily. Again, this whole thing was an experiment for me. Trying to learn this pit on a low and slow, and knowing now how steady this thing runs at temperature, I feel comfortable that I should have just brought it up to 225 and left it there, and I think I would probably already be eating a sandwich by now had I done that. This being said, the experiment so far has been very successful because I've learned a lot about this pit, and again, I'm feeling really confident in it now because once it gets locked in on that temperature, it rides it very steadily. So happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and pull this tri-tip now. I'll drain that juice that's been rendered out of it, along, you know, mixed with that stout. I'll reserve that off to the side, and I'm going to rest this probably about 30 minutes or so before I pull it. So see you in a bit. All right, and here we are. Very soft end. Nice smoke ring. Anyway, it's time to pull this. Got a little construction noise going on behind me. I'm gonna make do. I'm hoping that it won't cause too many problems, but this is soft. Nice, just nice smoke ring. I have here a potato roll. I'm gonna throw it on the pit. And at this point, it's not gonna be an intense toast. It's just gonna more or less be, you know, nice and warm. In the meantime, I've got that jus that I drained from this beef here. See that? Just rendered fat, the stout, just really beefy smell coming off, but it's very rich smelling. First things first, let's pile on some of that beef. The hammering in the background. Now, a buddy of mine named Adam, who lives fairly close to Tulsa, Oklahoma, had some pickles sent to me from Jan's Pickles. And these are awesome. They sent a variety of flavors, but this is the spicy garlic dill. And they're sliced, but they're like this thick. So what I did was I took one of those big thick slices and sliced it into several slices. And we're going to top this pulled tri-tip sandwich with these. And here we go. These are nice. They have a nice little heat to them, but not too much heat. Now I'm going to apply a barbecue sauce, and this is a commercially made barbecue sauce, but it's got a little sweetness to it and a tang. So it's got a lot of vinegar in it. This is some good stuff too. One of my last burger videos on my burger channel, I did a copycat of a restaurant called Easy Street Burgers in LA, one of the most popular burgers in Los Angeles, and this is my copycat of their, what they call their wild sauce. I'll have the recipe down below, but this is going to make a nice addition to this. And there we are. The pulled tri-tip sandwich. Thing looks really good, smells really good. Let's see how it tastes. So now first the tri-tip itself. Perfect amount of smoke. I'm getting a nice smoky flavor in this. It's still very moist, very tender. Smells really, really good. Because of that pepper and the salt, you know, that was rubbed on the outside initially, it's all spread throughout every bite now. It's not just, you know, on the surface. It's mixed up with the meat, which is good. I really think that jus that we hit it with at the end, you know, that rendered fat mixed with the ale and all the, you know, beef juices and everything, it helps. It tastes, you know, really good. It's a very savory bite. As a sandwich, this barbecue sauce, you know, there's that sweet, tangy, little bit of spice, and it's kind of mellowed out with this sauce, which is, you know, designed for a burger, but it's got that creamy kind of a in and out flavor, I guess, with a little teeny bit of heat itself. Then the pickles, you get the crunch, and it's just sort of balancing everything. It's making everything come together. Potato rolls, it's a great sandwich. Now as far as this pit, the El Patron ran like a clock. And again, I said it earlier, had I known just how dependable and stable the temperature would have been, I would have, before I went to bed, I would have kicked it up to 225 probably and let it run. Again, I was erring on the low side, and it still ran so steady at that low temp. It's just amazing. So now I'm ready to step it up to a more expensive cut of meat. Like I said, this was on sale. I mean, it was like a little over $4 a pound, cheaper than chuck roast, way cheaper than a brisket. But now I'm ready to spend the money on a brisket or something, again, that's going to cost me a lot more money than this tri-tip did. Would I do a pulled tri-tip again? I would. I mean, if I'm in the mood for a pulled beef and I can get it cheaper than, you know, chuck, for sure, I would do this. So I'm not having any regrets. Killer smoke ring on this thing. But anyway, pretty stoked. Thank you for stopping by. And again, keep those suggestions coming in, because especially when it comes to this, let me know down below if there's anything you'd like to see me do on this. I'm really looking forward to doing a rotisserie cook. Again, ribs and briskets, you know, your traditional barbecue stuff, but this thing will do it all. And for Father's Day, I cooked up a couple reverse seared ribeyes on it, and they were amazing. So just let me know down below if there's anything special you'd like me to see, like me to do on this pit. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting the sub button, ring the notification bell, thumb up the video if you like it. I hope you did. I'll see you on the next cook. Cheers.